love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 68th installment of The Bobby Kudo Show.
When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. Episode 68 of The Bobby Kudo Show. Got some special guests for everybody today. I promised you last time I was going to do it. We got Mr. Joe Costa in the house. Welcome, Joe. My former co-host of the Disgruntled America podcast.
Yep.
And if you haven't listened to the Disgruntled America podcast, you should go over 30 episodes of just pure, right? Good stuff, right? I'll be proud of that forever. And of course, my dear friend, Mr. Gary Cabral, bro. Thanks for being here, bro. Gary, you're a late minute surprise, bro. You just kind of made it here, right?
Hey.
Look, you look great, man, right?
Thank you.
Joe, you look at you, man, right?
Thank you.
You gentlemen look handsome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So do you.
Yeah. Want to get started? Want to go?
Let's
go. Well, everybody's been kind of anxious about this one. I'll let it out. We kind of talked about this for a little bit. Somebody's peeking back. All right, here we go. We talked about.
You are.
Yeah, it was me, actually. Me. It's always me. It's always me. Yeah, it was me. It was kind of feedback from the. Because I have it on over here. Mm-hmm. So. All right, so let's get started. So we talked a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. Joe and I kind of been communicating back and forth, and in the conversations that we've been having in the past, kind of came to the realization that although we all may think that we are isolated in certain situations and that things are only happening to us, when we talk about these things, and it's unfortunate that we only talk about these things when we realize that we have these situations, and then when we talk to other people, they're like, well, yeah, I get the same problem. Like I'm struggling with that too. So you almost wonder at some point, should we share that information with each other? Like, no, men don't talk about things like this. Men just don't talk about anything. They don't talk about relationships. You know, women will communicate with one another. Hey, my husband's an asshole, right? But how often, Gary, you and I have been friends for like forever, right? Joe, right. We've been friends for a really long time.
Yeah.
I've ever texted either one of you and been like, hey, my wife's an asshole. Like that just doesn't happen. So you almost wonder how that dynamic affects, because we say men and women and the differences between the two. But in this case, how does that affect the relationships moving forward? Because if one individual has the ability or just that ability to talk to somebody else, where men are kind of like, well, I don't want to share this with you because I feel
withdrawn.
You almost feel like if because I'm sharing my weakness with you, right? Like vulnerability,
yeah.
Right? So I don't want to share that with you. But women are okay to do that. Women are okay, and that's fine. But I just think that people need to realize the dynamics between men and women and the differences between the two. So, the three of us have been talking like more recently than ever before, specifically about like relationships. Gary, it's okay to say, like, you've done this, you've done the dating apps, right? Like you've checked that out. So you got some experience with that. So what's exactly that. And I want to talk about that today. Okay. If you don't mind, I want to get into that. And then Joe, you're on the other side of this, bro. Like you have a situation in your life that is grand. You know what I mean? Like you have the grand design, the nuclear family. Like you've got it put together, but you're hearing from people. You know what I mean? Like people share things with you, including myself. You know what I mean? I reach out to Joe and we talk. But again, what I realized was everything that you and I talk about was post.
Right.
Like we never talk about, hey, I'm in this situation and maybe I can do something to change. Maybe I can make a difference in my relationship. Maybe I can talk to her. But it's never that. It's always after the fact. It's almost the fact that this happens. Like a piano falls out of the sky, right? Lands on your head. It was funny. I saw a post today, and it's a woman. She's in a hospital bed. And she's holding a baby, and it says, "Thank God my baby doesn't look like any of my coworkers." Right?
I saw that.
Right? And I say to myself, like, you know what? That's funny, but it's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no, like you can't make that shit up. And the reality of it is have we lost that moral compass as like men
don't usually typically talk about feelings.
Okay.
We're not We're not those type of creatures. We're not
guys,
that type of creature. Women will have no problem talking to other women about their relationship.
Yes.
Men won't.
Yes.
We talk sports,
right,
fishing,
right,
stuff like that,
right.
Cars. We don't really get into it.
Our emotions and stuff, how we feel about other people.
Men hold their emotions back.
Yeah. Women can talk to each other differently than men can talk to women. There's just that they have this nuance that, and they can beat around the bush and still know what point they like. Women can talk to each other, give that look of 1,000 words, and I've seen that more often than not. It's that one look, they know each other, and that's 1,000 words. But we can't do that to the degree.
So let's just step back here real quick. So let's talk about, again, between the three of us, right? We're in different places in our life, right? But here we are, and now we're talking about these things. What does it take, or what's the advice to the men out there? Do you wait to have these conversations with a friend? Or do you just let everything just explode?
No, you find the guy who you're loyal. You do have. Everyone has a person they're loyal to. They can ask and rely on something. The problem is sometimes you get the wrong information from the wrong person because that person themselves don't know how to answer you because they don't have that experience with certain issues. You know what I mean? That's the biggest issue. Like, just like, all right. One thing I know is never ask a woman unless you have a good confidant who is outside the box. Never ask a woman on women advice. Because they never tell you the truth. They never tell you, hey, spruce up. You're overweight, or you should. They're like, well, she's a nice girl. They never want to hurt your feelings because they're still being a woman in themselves.
You're saying like your partner or just a girlfriend?
Just a girlfriend about women.
So if somebody you confide in and you're going to ask her, you don't think a good friend would tell you that?
If she's good and she's outside the realm of being a woman,
yes,
and she doesn't have to see a lot of times they'll tell you the nice things without telling you, hey man, your shit stinks, your breath sucks, things like that. They don't tell you straight out. Most of them say, well, you try this, or maybe she doesn't like it.
Yeah, but isn't that a disservice?
It's a disservice, but it's how they are. See, if she was telling another woman that, they'd figure it out. Women women have a social order of how sometimes women can say nice things to each other, and they're like, she's a total bitch because she said something nice to each other. Because they say it in a denigrating way where some men don't get it. You know what I mean? And some women don't see how men can be angry or flip at one time when they say, I told you 1,000 times how I felt. Well, you told me 1,000 times how I felt. You're supposed to get it. That's what that it's an old saying. Let's say women are from Venus, men are from Mars.
Yes,
and this is exactly it.
Yeah,
there's a different way of communication that they had their higher, in their social order, and we had our social order. And it all derives from way back in the caveman age, and it's still in our hindbrains now.
Men are just simple.
Right.
We're simple.
We usually simple.
We're simple. If you got a problem, tell me.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
A woman will tell you. They'll tell you, but
feel what I'm feeling.
Right. Yeah. They'll hint it to you. They don't, because they want you to know.
Yep. They want you to know.
Right. Like you were saying before, like another woman could look at another woman and they already instant know what you're thinking. But men, we're so simple. We're just.
Yeah, black and white. It is true. And I hate to say that about men, but you're absolutely right. It's so true, bro.
Because we
just are simple.
Yes.
We like things simple.
Yes.
Women, well, it's not only that.
And our feelings don't get hurt like a woman's feelings. If you tell me I'm fat or I don't look good in something, I'm going to be like, oh, that's messed up. But
thank you for letting me know.
Right.
If it's from a loyal person or somebody, because that's how, and that all still derives from back in the day.
Yeah.
We're men, we have to gather together and go hunt. We have a forward-looking thinking.
Yes.
We think logical, saying, okay, you got to do this. This is what you don't see. I'm telling you what you're doing wrong right now. Okay, boom, we can get focused and go on.
Yeah.
Women are the gatherers in a way. They were culturally together, raising the children in the stirred. They had not hindsight. What's that? Peripheral vision, protective wise, and they would see certain things outside, and they would have little nuances of speaking, as well as that goes to like when one tribe takes over another in a way, and people look at me like, oh, that's so backwards.
Right.
Well, we still go to the bathroom the same way and everything the same way. Nothing's really has changed on our hindbrains. We have advanced, but we're still, goddamn, beings on this planet that nothing much has changed.
Yep.
So there's a lot of people who want to go against what that is, and it's still true to this day. And that's how there's communications difference.
So you're talking about like being instinctual. You're going back to the idea of
man.
the woman wants
there.
the strongest man, the strongest male to procreate.
Yep.
Right?
To protect.
So we're going back. So we're
in a status.
All right. So here we are. Right?
Yep.
It's 2022.
Yep. And
what's the difference?
Society's trying to change that difference. That's saying, and we're going to get a lot of backlash with society saying, and I don't want to portray it because there's a lot of good things with it, but that they try to strengthen the feminine issue, right?
Yep.
Make you strong and all that. But what they did is sabotage it and push the man out of the way. It's supposed to come together, and they hijacked it. And now we got the mess we have. A good thing of it advances is women do advance and they make better money. They don't need the man around, for a lot of things. A lot less than what we perceive than they need. Right. They need men for a lot more things than they think.
Yep.
Like you said, I didn't feel that they need to pay somebody to do something all the time. There's always somebody to do something for them because they won't touch it.
Right. So I totally get that, Gary. And I think really that's the way you have to look at this. I think you have to look at the situation just as that. I think the only thing
it's
that's
almost
changed,
like a red pill way, and people hate that.
But
once you get
yes,
into it,
absolutely. And I have never met, or very rarely have I ever met, a beautiful woman who wasn't with a strong male. Like that's usually they hand in hand. You know what I mean? You got a strong male and a beautiful woman and they both complement each other. You know what I mean? So it almost seems like, as a male, I'm looking for a beautiful mate. And as a female, I'm looking for, like you said, Gary, the strongest male, the male that's going to protect
the status.
Me, right?
So
like
now I know it's different.
If a saber-toothed tiger is chasing me, like he's gonna kill that saber-toothed tiger. He's going to protect me. He's going to provide me with food. He's going to So I think really when you
that's why I'm pretty. I want that big guy to look at me.
There you go. There you go. And the prettiest, like the birds, right? The prettiest bird gets the mate.
Yeah.
So I think if you look at that and you break it down that way, and I think it's not insulting to anybody. I think people really need to look at that concept and own it. Gary, I always remember you telling me the saber-toothed tiger. You say it all the time, the saber-toothed tiger, the saber-toothed tiger. And I never really processed that information. And now I look at that and I say, man, you're right. You're so right. Like it's just that going back to the basics of what we are fundamentally as humans.
It's still there.
It's still there, man. It is still there. We still do the same. You know what? The cavemen and the Neanderthal, like we're still doing the same thing.
The only difference is the females. We still want to procreate.
Absolutely. The only difference is I'm driving to the grocery store to buy my food, and I'm not going out hunting. Like that's the difference. But if you look at it,
still thriving every day, you got to go to work and pay the bills. It's a different way to thrive.
And I think
safer, more technology advanced. You might not die every day, but that struggle is still there.
Yeah. And I talked about that in episode 67, and that's really what kind of generated this show and asking you guys to come on the show. And what I'm going to do is I just let the cat out of the bag. What I'm going to do is in my next episode, which will be 69. Arnie, 69. Rob Gokowski retired, by the way. Episode 69, and I'm going to bring in two women. I'm going to bring in two women, and they're going to have the same. We're going to have the same conversation, and we're going to talk about men. We're going to talk about men.
Then what? Episode 70 be males and females.
And there you go. And episode 70, we're going to bring you guys back in, all of us together, and we're going to record that episode because I think this right now is so relevant. This is so like real right now, and I think technology, the Bumbles, the Tinders, the Match, whatever that is.
I don't think it's even that.
Well, I'm saying I think it makes it easier to excuse that commitment of a relationship. So in other words, you and I, like back in the day, if you wanted to date somebody, we go date them a couple times, right? Like it was either, hey, my friend, I know somebody. Yeah. Like my friend's got a friend who's single and they're going to hook you up, or you went out somewhere and you ran into somebody.
Right.
Today, you're literally in your recliner in your living room and you're swiping left, you're swiping right, and then you communicate. It's like, so it becomes so much easier to meet people. So then do we become more picky? Like, are you?
The women do. The women do. And the women have all the choice. They get bombarded constantly on that phone. And the men are actually diminished.
Have you seen it? Have you seen the women? Have you seen like a woman?
I've talked to women all the time on it.
Okay.
And they're like, they give you that embarrassment. Like, yeah, it's true. And it's just, once they get on, it's a different burden for them. They get bombarded with all sorts of texts. They get everything. When men are getting the numbers very, very reduced. Now, you got to have your dating site. It's got to be tight. You know what I mean? And you got to have something to show. And I've seen other women show me like dating sites from other guys, like their profiles. Yeah. And they're absolute shit. And not only that is and I'm not trying to tout mine, but you got to put a little bit of effort because they see 1,000 men. You know what I mean?
Right. So
this is a box of dicks.
Yeah.
For women.
What differentiates you from anybody else?
Because the looks. Now that's the thing. Yeah. The right guy has got. It's reduced. Women have the pick of the litter, right? Yeah. And then what happens is they get, for the short margin of men, get all the girls. Yeah. All the so you get 1,000 men, 10% of that gets all the girls, and most women will date that one guy. Wow. Most of them men. Wow. So and there's a lot of times that guys are frustrated on dating sites because they're not getting any hits, or they're getting all the undesirable women and ugly. Like, I'm not getting nowhere.
Yeah, but what's the expectation, bro? Huh? What's the expectation?
It's very tough out there. But
are you just looking to get laid?
But that's also society.
Is it just to get laid?
That's pretty.
A lot of guys are.
That's
just to
what
get
I
laid.
gather from it.
And everybody's got different things.
From people that I've talked to that go on it, they just do it just to get laid.
A lot of
they're not.
guys,
And
some
it's
girls
not.
it's the same way.
They're not out there to find the right person.
No.
So would
it could have happened. Yeah, it's happened. I've dated some great girls on there, and
okay.
It could go with the way.
And that was gonna be my next question. Is it based on what app you're using? So if I'm using Tinder, I'm looking
Tinder. They say it's more like a hookup thing and all that. Bumble, then there's the matches and all that. But hey, look, everybody's doing the same game. It's just a different way to do it. They have, the Tinder. Anybody can hook up. The Bumbles, women have the advantage. They reach out to you. So if they're already reaching out to you, they have to make the first act, and they're already somewhat interested.
Okay.
But they try everybody out, and then the first guy who's got better game on text, and then next thing it leads to a date.
I don't think I could ever get into that.
I think it's something that if you're
brought to it, you'll
presented,
learn quick.
You took the words out of my mouth.
I'm more like, I would rather just go out and
you can, but then when you find that nothing's going on, you will see the person.
I have a feeling what you have is a lot of fake people.
Everybody wants to put a face on,
right?
No matter what you do, they put their best face forward.
It's like, I think that's just it's almost like clickbait.
Even if you date a girl, you meet her out, and you date her. Look, I'll tell you right now, and I'm gonna get backlash for this. The first 90 days, they always put their first face on. You don't discover things because you're dating. You always want. It's always like it's almost like a game, not a game, but like everybody's gonna put their first face forward, the best face forward for a while.
Right.
You don't get to know a person for a while. It doesn't matter because once you pass that scale of the dating app, you're already dating that person, and you start seeing more and more of her. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And women have the total advantage in this. You just got the best
always have the total advantage.
Always have the total advantage.
Do you, Gary? Do you believe that you could find love on a dating app? Is it possible to find love? Because I know people that have found love.
You can find love anywhere.
I know people that have found love.
The apps. I know on those apps.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know someone specific, very close to me, and she met her partner on Tinder, and they have an amazing relationship.
But I would think you would have to go in there looking for a relationship.
Well, you go in there and that's what you got.
I have a feeling.
Then you date. Then you find out what goes on.
A lot of people go on those things just for hookups.
There's that element there as well.
That's what I think.
There is that element.
So again, you can find love because I know someone who has found love.
I think you find love anywhere,
and they have an amazing relationship. So. I think, is it a chance? Is it a chance that maybe, and is it what you're looking for? You know what I mean? Because again, like to your point, you're kind of like, I'm all set with that. I really wouldn't do that. But really, all right, put it this way. Would you rather know a little bit about the person you're about to meet or not know anything about the person you're about to meet? Like,
nothing.
So if
I'm
I'd
different
rather
on it.
know nothing.
So you rather know nothing?
If you know how, well, I'm not saying,
Because
but if you date enough, it's fun. The date makes it fun.
I think it's exciting either way.
I would think the profiles.
They leave you a little bit.
People hype themselves up, and they put some false information. I think.
Well, it's like a job, right?
I'd rather go out and meet a person and see who they truly are.
Right. You will.
Because you could see who a person is after about talking to them about 15 minutes.
Right. Like I said, you're still on a date. You could gather, but I mean, you're on a dating site. It's you're eliminating that going out with your friends and meeting someone and saying, "Oh, hey, trying to talk to her." You get that icebreaker gone when you start dating each other. Then you go for the date, and then that's just like going. It's the same thing. It's not that much different on your first date when you're actually meeting. You might know a few things, and the thing, if you pen pal that girl a lot of times, remember she has a box of dicks. There's someone else texting her at the same time you are. You don't do your shit right in time, it's gonna be next.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And you got to be forward. You say she wants to go on a date. She's looking at you. Don't sit the pen pal for 10 weeks. She's like, all right, someone else got my eye too.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm married.
Yeah.
I don't have to go through that shit.
You know,
and it's not. You're right. I've been on, and I'm
never
off.
want to go
I'm
through
on.
that.
I'm
it's
off.
Just so complicated. It's so stupid.
But guess what? The dating game itself, in itself, is complicated.
It's different now.
Well, you're talking about two human beings with complex minds, and opposite of your sex
with
doesn't make a difference.
experiences, with their own experiences, with their and now obviously in most cases, if you're on a dating app, chances are one, you haven't had a serious relationship, so you're a little off on the relationship, or you had a relationship that went terribly wrong, or maybe just separated, or you're not together anymore,
sometimes for different reasons,
and you go on those dating apps. So does it mean like you're already kind of going on there with a preconceived notion of what you're looking for?
Some people want to go there to get laid. Some people want to go there to find something. Some people say, hey, you know what? It's better than going to the bar every day, or better going, there's nothing in this area. Let me figure something out and I'll go out. They do better in bigger cities. conjunction of people, different types versus being out in the country. Same thing if you're dating out in the country, your numbers are diminished. They're very minimal when you go to a big
Might
city.
as well stick with the sheep.
How long you been on? How long you been on dating apps?
I've been on and off. I'm not on now or anything.
Like, I was saying on and off. Like how?
All right, I've been single for what? Jesus Christ, almost going on 9 years, maybe. Yeah, like over a decade. So I haven't always been single, but I've dated back and forth for a number of years. I would say about 8 or 7 or so, on and off.
So you've seen like the evolution of the dating apps, right? Yeah. So you started like almost at the beginning, and now you see what it is now. Do you see it getting refined? Do you see it?
Oh, I don't think it's going anywhere.
No, is it better?
Unless better? People know how to work around it better. That's it. It's better. People know how to differentiate things quicker, faster, and easier. This girl's no good, or I can see the game plan here, boom, I'm out. Yeah, things like that.
So have you met someone where you dated them, sat with them, and realized they were full of shit? Like one, they didn't look like what they said.
That's a thing. They didn't
right? They didn't look like what they said they were going to look like.
Always a lot older. Women are they're always a lot older.
Filters and all that bullshit.
That filter. Yeah. Women, if you're listening, maybe one make you look nice. Don't load up with filters, guys. Just women look for guys with nice things, status, fun, or whatnot. But when it comes to guys, we want to see who you are, who do you look like? Be pretty, be nice. Don't full of filters. We think you're hiding something for sure.
Being where we are now, talking about relationships, talking about all these different situations, it's almost like when I look at this and I try to process it all and how we've actually like handed a dish to people. Of people. Here, listen, you get to pick and choose whatever you like. Do people become obsessed with the image?
We are now.
Rather than the person, the personality, the conversation.
Men think differently, like you said. When it comes to the girls on dating sites, they blow it up. And then it's to a point where they're competing with other girls. You look at them; they're always
a competition. You're competing with other guys.
Well, here's the thing, but guys don't think that way. Guys thinking, I just put up pictures on me. I'm look through. If she likes me, I go on. And it's like your pictures are shit. You have a picture of your Camaro or something in front of your car, and I don't want to see you with no shirt on at the gym, from the bathroom pic.
A lot of girls like that.
Some. Those are the ones who might want to get laid, or they have somebody on the hookup on the side. But a girl you want a girl who's got some quality or some intelligence you want to talk to, they're gonna look at that, and if you can word things right, or say things right, or talk to him on text, then you can go. There's a saying girls usually say, I thought it was cute till he opened his mouth. Okay, now there's a reason for that.
That's a lot of the muscle guys.
Right, and it's exactly true. But some girls are like, hey, he's hot, I'm gonna try to do it because they're coming off a relationship or something like that, or with a rebound or whatnot. Yeah, he knows he's been on it for a while. He knows what to put. He knows what girls try to go on, and these girls compete with each other. They're so competitive that they don't put the things that guys want to hear. They'll put like, oh, this and that, and the big thing is they put their politics in front of it. Guys don't care about that.
Right.
They want to know, we want you to be nice, sweet, and show us that you have some family.
Right.
But they and also they're putting all these places around the world, and it gets to a point where some guys who are just normal dudes are like this girl's in Paris, this girl's here and there. It's like, I can't afford to take her out. Eliminate herself from the freaking some of that. That's another thing.
Who knew? You know what? This is like a women's show. The women should be listening to the show. We're getting them all the advice they should know. That makes sense to me because you almost become intimidated by that.
A lot of men do become intimidated.
Listen,
that's a big thing in the dating site right now. Is men are intimidated because, and that's the same. That's why relationships aren't as they are, because women are, like I said, women are making more money or whatnot, and they're at a higher. Women do not date down. They don't date down unless you have something that men don't have. Unless you got, they give them the 10, or you are a 10 in a way where you don't give a shit, and she knows that you are on your path to become a higher status, they will go down for you. Yeah. Or unless she has no other option. But women usually, and this is like you said, women want to protect her.
Yes. They want the best.
They want the best.
They want the best.
Because women are, men become. Well, women, you're hot.
I love that. Say that again. Say that again.
It's not my saying.
Say that again.
I didn't say that.
Say it again.
Women are, men become.
I like that.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Women are hot. They get everything thrown at them. Women already are what men want. Men have to become what women want in a way. You know what I mean? You have to earn. You have to be. You have to earn yourself through the ranks. You have to eat the crow. You have to go through your.
I know what you're saying. Like, so the whole thing with me and my wife was I went through a relationship before her.
Okay.
And that girl, I didn't know, was dressing and picking what I should wear and what I should do and stuff like that.
Oblivious, so you didn't care.
Right. No,
of course.
I was in a relationship. She, and that whole thing ended. And then after that whole thing ended, I'm sitting there going, and I'm looking at the clothes, and I'm like, this ain't me.
This ain't even me.
This ain't me. So I started becoming me.
Me.
Right? So that's what I think you do. You have to fall in love back with yourself.
You have to be.
Yes.
Before you can love somebody else, right? So I fell back. I started being me. And I said, I'm never going through that bullshit again.
Good.
I'm not going to let somebody go ahead, dictate me, my personality.
Yeah, but how many people is that happening to, though?
It happens a lot.
They don't even realize it.
So
because we become lazy. We become comfortable.
So when I met my wife, she wasn't like that. She never tried to tell me, what are you wearing? Why are you wearing that? You should wear this. You should do this. You should do this with your hair. You should do this. You should do that. She let me be me. And that's what made me fall in love with her. Is because she accepted me for me.
Right.
And I think what a lot of the guys and girls need to do to make this a lot easier to go is you go on a dating site or you guys go out to eat, go have coffee or whatever. Just be you.
Just be you.
Because you know what? The bullshit in the end, when you're bullshitting now,
it'll show through.
9 months, 6 months, a year from now, 2 years from now.
I always have this thing rule of 90 days.
It's going to show up, and you're going to waste your time, and she's going to waste her time.
Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
But for me,
you have to waste the time. You got to dig through dirt to find the gold.
But you don't have to.
You have to.
If you go out and with the intent,
you still have to date that girl.
Yourself. No, but I'm saying if she'll be herself and you be herself, right?
Yeah.
So if you go to a coffee shop, you guys go out for a coffee or whatever, you go ahead and just be straight up. This is who I am.
Yeah.
You're not going to change me. I'm not going to change you. I think you're beautiful the way you are. I don't know your personality yet. We're going to figure that out later on in the relationship, but don't try and
I like that point. That's a great point.
You have that internally. So you're you and you become you, and so when you go on a date, you are you and yourself, but there's a little bit of tugging to it's a courting.
It's courting.
It's a courting. You go there, you be the fun guy, you have fun, you tease, you banter a little bit back and forth. And she does the same thing. She's gonna shit test you. You say, are you the guy on my level? Are you the guy that you say in your days? Like, are you who you really are? They're gonna shit test you in a way. They're gonna figure you out because they know every guy's trying to get into her pants.
Yes,
but you have nothing to hide if you're true to yourself.
But don't. Right. But you always have to put a little bit forward.
You do
as a
of course.
You want to be a little almost a little like a little James Bond.
Well,
but the thing is I'm not trying to persuade you. You're gonna like me for me.
No, but you're there to enjoy the night with her.
Right.
You say,
you're gonna enjoy the night. Right.
Don't put everything out forward. Don't. And I'm just saying for guys.
No, I'm not saying
don't
that.
Don't spit everything out you have.
Yep.
And it's just like, I want to make girls just want to go out, just want to have fun. Yep. They want to go on a nice date and have their fun. So they'll discover you eventually. You know what I mean?
So you go out on a date, you talk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So if she asks you a question, what do you do for a living? What do you have your own house?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna go ahead and say
right.
And do you have your own car? Yeah, I got this car and this car, that car. You're not just throwing it out there like you said. Not throwing it out there. Oh yeah, I got
but
this.
Men
I got
usually
this.
do that.
I was going to say, how many men are out there doing that?
Yeah.
Actually doing that.
A lot of guys do that because
I
want to peacock. I want to get the girl.
Yes,
but you got to make it fun and playful. You got to say, I have a car. It gets me around. 100 miles. 100 miles per
you
gallon.
can play the game. Yeah, you can play the game.
Skateboard. You play game.
Right.
She wants to have fun with you. She really likes you in a way. Make it fun in a way. And try to be. And you learn that as the more dates you go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you become.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation, Gary, where you were pretending to be something you weren't? Like maybe in the beginning of this, like did you try harder than you normally would? Were you saying things that all right?
I know what you're saying.
I'm gonna stop beating around the bush. If you were looking to get laid, sorry, Joe's mom, I apologize. If you were looking to get laid, and you weren't looking for a long-term relationship, what do you care? Why wouldn't you? Right. Why wouldn't you say, hey, my G-Wagon's parked out, my house?
Because she's gonna see it. The shit they're gonna know.
When?
Huh?
When?
On the first date, they usually know you came in, you popped in, and you're going to leave the same spot.
So if you're just trying to get laid, then you're going to say all that. She's going to want to see it.
I could literally rent a car.
Look, here's the thing.
Right? I could literally rent a car.
Right.
I'm going to say something with us as guy. I mean,
just us.
You're swiping on her and you like her. You already want to get laid with her, right? If you do your shit right, and whatever environment of life she's in, she might get laid with you the first night.
So you're saying don't lie.
Be the best. Be playful about yourself. But be strong. Be strong in your own. Be strong in who you are. Be playful and banter, and then she's going to decide. See, she decides the sex.
Mm-hmm.
We decide the relationships. You understand? So she wants to have sex with you. She's gonna have sex with you. Okay, so you just got to be the best who you can be. You don't have to put a lie, put a front. If she sees that, that's a total. She's gonna dry up real quick.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And as far as being somebody you're not, no, but you can always put get a persona of who you want and say, not saying that you do that, but sometimes it helps people like, your favorite character, like I'm gonna act like Tom Brady, and got that the persona.
Yeah.
Put a little bit that into mix it with you, that might bring you up a little bit, and it also gives you a vote of confidence internally, and then you can do better on the date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And laugh at yourself. So that's one thing that's
So a couple of things, but Joe, that's a really good point though. Like trying to pretend to be something that you're not.
It's going to be a disaster.
At some point, it's going to be a complete
and if you're
disaster.
renting G-Wagons to get the girl, man, you got a lot more of the problems.
And you gotta be yourself. Don't
drive a shitbox unless you know your game. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these girls say, like, man, I go to the guys, And one thing that's, remember, girls date, they're leveling up. So this girl's got a job and all. You see that shit on her dating site or whatever. And then she really gonna expect you to. They're okay if at least. They always say, at least have a fucking job. If you live with your mother because you're divorcing and all that, they can understand a little bit. Women are normal too. Women have, they see real life situations too, because some of them are mothers in our age, and they
of course, or they went through the same exact situation themselves.
They understand,
or in the middle, or they're in the middle of going through something like that.
I personally, I don't like coffee dates. Guys like, oh, coffee date, I'm wasting my time and all that. Well. Then she ain't gonna go with you on a date or the coffee date. Unless you can bring it to a different level. I always say, girl, out for dinner or something.
So you said you don't like coffee dates.
I don't like coffee dates.
So
some guys think highly of that. It's like if she's out, I'm out. But we're not. Well, it depends on age differences. I guess if you're young and you're 20s and all that, and you want coffee dates, that's fine because
it's like speed dating, right? It's like a speed dating.
Well, you figure things out, right. But you always got to have something else planned up. This goes good. Hey, let's go over here. Let's have some fun. Yep. Some guys go to one thing and then they say, all right, we want to go back to my place.
Are you ready for this? How about those guys that are doing it now who should have been doing it before? Right? How about the guys who were married, who were in a relationship, and should have been doing that shit the whole time and they weren't?
What do you mean? Oh, to their wives?
Yes. And now they're on a dating app and they're doing all the things that they should have done then, and then now they're doing it for a stranger. They're not doing it right like that, and that happens.
Yeah,
and that happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go through that bullshit again.
No,
dating
you know what?
Scene and all that.
Well, then do your best to try not to do that.
Yeah, right.
Do like he said. Take her out. Be playful. Do surprising things.
I think it's this, guys. I think it really is being conscious. You have to be conscious of your relationship.
Yeah.
I think you can never lose, like anything else. If my roof isn't leaking, I'm not worried about my roof.
Right.
But why should I wait until it's leaking to be worried about my roof? Is what I'm saying.
It's a human nature thing.
So
right?
So the whole thing
complacency
with us, me and my wife, was if you knew who I was younger, playful, always joking, hanging out, always cracking jokes, always, and I was always honest and everything else. But I kind of lost that in my last job. It started making me miserable and blah, blah. So my wife was like, one day she's like, oh, you're so miserable. Oh, you're not the same. You're not the same person that you used to be. So like, and it was going over and over and over again, right?
Yep.
So it was like, oh, you snap at the kids. Oh, you get so upset so quick and stuff like that. And, you're not the same like you used to be with me and stuff like that. So after a while, it just clicked. Like, it's like,
you heard it a couple of times. Ever since,
and I told her, and I'm like, listen, I said, it's work. It's like, I go out. It's just, I'm always battling the corporation.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Joe.
Well, that's a good thing when the woman tells you you're calling
you
out.
But that's the thing. You got to communicate.
Right. So my point is, I was actually going to say that, Gary. So Joe, do you think your wife shared that with you because she loves you?
Right.
She knows who you are.
Right.
Okay. So how about the wife that doesn't share that information, or how about the wife that is tired of it? It says, all right, like I've mentioned this a couple of times, he hasn't listened to me,
right?
And I just can't take it anymore.
But as a person, as a guy or a husband or whatnot, you got to listen. Like I said, we said before.
But you also have that.
Women will give you
Put
a little signal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
After a while, it'll click in your head.
Yep.
So after a while, like I told her, I'm like, what do you want me to do? Go get another job? Where am I going to find another? And that's the other thing too. It's your work would always say, oh, if you don't like your job, what are you going to do? Go flip burgers for $12 an hour? Where are you going to make over $30 an hour doing this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that put you in your head like, man, I'm stuck.
But see,
I'm stuck.
But now that you're aware of it, I would say, okay, let me change my dynamics with the people that I work with.
Right.
If I can't, I'm going to make a change and I'm going to change.
But like I say, let me just get to this. Right. Yeah. In the middle of your relationship, it can change.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it can. Oh, that's,
so like me and my wife, like I used to be able to joke, play with her, do all these things. I used to be joyful and all that. So what happened is like, all right, well, what do I got to get rid of here? Because I know where this is going to end.
Right. Yeah. Right.
If I keep doing this,
yes.
So I went out, found another job.
Good.
Now I'm back towards
being the playful guy.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm back to being being me, the one that she fell in love with, which is good. So, but I'm gonna say like, not just people's attitudes, but like sometimes she'll say like, oh, I don't see what you see in me anymore, and stuff like that. I don't know what you see in me.
At that point, she's not feeling good about herself.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
But I always tell her when we first were going out and we were married, she was like a size, I think 2 or something like that. She was like that.
Yeah, she has kids. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I told her, I'm like, well, we had kids. I said, I still love you. I still think you're hot. You got a nice body. Yeah. It's not like you just went out and just eating tons of hamburgers.
She's doing it to herself.
No, right. She's doing it to herself.
Right.
Like I tell her, she's like, oh, I don't know what you see me. I said, I wish you could see.
You just say, I love. You know what I love seeing her? Turn around, slap her ass. That's what
there you go, Gary. There you go, bro.
You make them feel good and playful.
But what I tell her,
that's what you do.
But what I tell her is, I go, I can't explain why I think you're still attractive. Why I'm still in love with you from the time that when we first met. Yeah. I said, I wish I could just take my eyeballs out in my brain and stick it in yours, and you can see the beauty that I see.
Nice.
Sometimes.
So that's what I try to tell her.
Yep.
And but she doesn't. It's that self-esteem type of thing. Right. But she doesn't understand. Like I'm like, you're hot. I don't care what other guys think of you. I don't care what I care what I think of you. You're beautiful. To me, you are beautiful.
I think how you have to say it in a way is they're releasing their feelings. This is how I feel.
Right.
So now you gotta bring them back to a moment that you had together where she felt hot, she felt great. It's like, oh, you know what, baby, you know what time I still think about is the time we're at that day and you're wearing that dress and all that, and it automatically brings memories to her, and she feels hot again. She feels like, oh yeah, good. And you didn't take that logic. See, we're telling them logically, you're beautiful. I see you. I don't know what to tell you. But you got to tell them, I got to bring you to an emotion. I got to bring you to somewhere where that you felt good again, felt hot. You know what I mean?
But I think
kind of like the slap in the ass thing. They tell you because they're saying, oh, I don't see what. And a lot of times, that's the problem. They tell you something emotionally, we think logically. That's the breakdown.
That's a breakdown.
So that's where you say, well, remember the time we said, I still think about that hot dress and that time we had that fun. You keep that, and it brings that memory to her, and then it breaks it down for her, and she feels great again. You know what I mean? She understands. For her, in her mind, she's saying like, yeah, he still thinks I'm hot.
But
because he's thinking of that point when we're together.
Well, and you are, because if you remember that moment, that's a special moment, and if you had that special moment,
about something, right? Here's one little thing: if they bring some subject back, that's something that happened in the past all the time, like, oh, you always bring that up. They're not bringing that time to get back you. They're bringing that time up because this is how I'm feeling right now. Right. Just like that time, I'm frustrated. I feel like this. I'm feeling weak or not because of that one time made me feel. He's like, all right, she's feeling like that right now, and you got to think, okay, I got to maneuver somewhere and talk. Yeah. And to get her out of that emotion.
Okay. So let's go full circle on this. How about the women that just take it? The guys are women. Like all he does is drink. He's verbally abusive to her. He's psychologically abusive to her.
There's a number of factors for that.
You're a narcissist. Whatever those things are.
They're stuck in a way because they don't feel that they can
get out.
Provide for themselves.
So does that mean something like that? Does that mean that she would stay?
Or they love that feeling. She would stay with you themselves.
Yeah, secretly they like it.
Right. Yeah. Right. And they're going to stay with you because of
not all the time.
Well, the kids or and then they buy their time and wait it out.
Yeah.
There's always some reason, but I think ultimately, I even know people that...
You got to see a psychologist because sometimes I've seen some girls...
So you need that
and
separation.
They're with demented guys and it's like they have the qualities and they are smart and intelligent, but there's something underlying that they've had in their past that and it's actually not even female, male, it's mental where they're like, I need to have that where I need to be... To find out that he's weaker than me and I need to make sure that I'm always there even though he abuses me and all that. It makes you feel comfortable. Some girls...
It's like they think they're noble.
And some girls like the bad boy.
It's the self-love.
Yes.
They never had self-love for themselves.
Yes.
But some girls love that narcissistic...
Oh, yeah. Some girls like
because he's got the traits of that saber-toothed tiger killer. So he's got the hunter mentality. He doesn't have the qualities. But the girl, she's getting that. She gets that high off that emotion. How that guy treats her. Feel. Some guys like, you treat you like shit, and you always go back to him. Why? because she loves that feeling of that strong man telling her.
I feel safe.
The hot girl's always been told.
I feel safe.
Yeah, no, not only that. There was a hot girl who's always been told that she has everything. That guy tells her no, there's something wrong with her. She's like, I got to convince her. There's, and that can go to a whole. We could be here all night with those little dynamics of human nature, of certain things. But you can narrow a lot of things down when you see enough of certain things. And another thing to say is when you're dating the girl, vet her family, and see how she is with other people. That's a big tell. See how she acts with the people, especially the waitstaff, and how you are with waitstaff too. She's looking for you too. She's got a lot of things on how you act in front of the people. Now, when you're with her, and then you see how she is another thing, and I don't care, we're gonna get backlash for this. How her relationship is with her father. That's another big thing.
Okay,
you know what I mean.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about that. What is that dynamic? Because you always hear that. Oh, she's got daddy issues.
That's why we say it a lot.
You hear it all the time. It's probably, I hear that more often than I hear anything else.
Yeah, she has to have a strong male figure in there to know, because like normal families, that's why you have so much problems, because the houses have been broken apart.
Right.
You know, the male female have been separated. They can't see the dynamics of how they just naturally flow, living their lives are growing.
You do need both parents.
You need both parents.
Because like
the dynamic. You need to see that dynamic.
Like my wife says, she's the carer, right? All the kids, every time when they're sick, they run to the mother.
Yep.
Right? The fathers, you need the fathers to be there to be stern, strong.
Not only that, is they need to see how the father and mother react to each other. When they know something's not normal, they see that my mom and dad were good like that. That's not a normal relationship. They see something's instinctively. That's how we teach each other. Nurture each other.
So that's what I say. So the kids are seeing that.
Yes.
And that's what they're learning. So you talk about daddy issues. You were brought up this way. Like, this is where the concern comes from. This is where
and I'm not saying, I don't want to say you don't have a daddy that you have problems.
No,
some women have strong male figures, and some women, their mothers know that been raised by strong male figures, that they know how to portray that. You know what I mean?
Right,
and I've dated girls with kids, and they tell the kid, "You stop being a pussy."
But it does directly affect.
It can affect, because there's one portion and it affects the child as they grow up. Or women who don't have that, and now she sees you, she's gonna have issues.
Yeah.
It doesn't negate everything else they've grown in intelligence, and if they realize that on themselves. I mean, look, that's why you guys say, everybody says, "Oh, it's hard to date again." Yeah, because man, what are we dealing with? We're not dealing with a mechanical device. We're dealing with another human being with another brain.
Yeah, we're not writing letters anymore. We're not writing. I mean, it's literally, and technology is this. And like, to your point, if you're not on it, like, it takes 2 minutes. Oh, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm done with it.
Well, no. Right? You have to. That's another gameplay. They see that with texting game, if you always constantly texting, like, this guy's got nothing going on.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You text, oh, hey, everything, and she's like, oh God, you know what I mean? It's the same thing as the guys like hounding her. Do you want to speak? Are you okay? Yeah.
Gary, ask a question. How do you know this?
Huh?
Is this from experience?
Yeah, some experiences, yes.
So like too much chatting, too much texting. More, hey, let's go out, let's go get something to drink, let's go get something to eat.
Be forward, say, I let you be playful, banter on the dating site, and then make something out of it. Make a date. She's not gonna. She's like, you and everybody else is texting her. You be the guy ahead of the game in a way.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know how to be smooth about it.
Yep.
And unfortunately, with everybody who dates or whatever, and there's still times that crash and burn. Hell yeah. Just it's the normal, and it's a numbers game. The more you do it, the better you get at it. You know what I mean? With people, and unfortunately, but sometimes you find the great girl, and I found some great girls. And,
so let me ask you, Gary,
sometimes it's their mistakes.
Do you feel your life is enriched by dating apps, or do you feel like your life is hindered by it?
No.
Tinder.
It's just a Tinder. All right. Both aspects, because you see the dark side of people. Okay, so now it's like, oh, you're in then you don't go forward to some people because you see certain things right away, and then where normal times you.
Yeah, but isn't that a good thing?
It is a good thing, but then it holds you back from just trying harder with some people. Like, I'm out. You know,
are you bitter? Whatever. Are you bitter with anyone?
No. With anybody in my past, no. And that's nothing that's one thing you got to learn, and not be bitter in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you really, she fucked you over and stole your shit or whatnot, whatever, or call the cops on your ass or something like that. You know what I mean? But thank God I never had that.
Yeah.
Things like that. But bitter, no. Feelings are different for different women and stuff like that. Yeah. But no, never bitter. Thank God. I've been lucky enough to where from learning this stuff and maybe having a good upbringing, that it's like, you don't stay bitter. You know what I mean? And
have you met any psychos? Have you met any crazy psychos that you're like, oh man?
There's a lot of psycho people out there.
Really?
Sometimes they're fun.
Just give me an example of that. Like, what do you mean psycho?
Oh, no, I'm not giving anything.
Nothing? No, a little bit of psycho?
Yeah.
No?
No.
A little bit of psycho? Nothing?
No. Psychos in fun ways and psychos in like, all right, I'm out, but see, I would see something off. I'm like, okay, I'm going to cut my ends with this girl, make it nice and just cut my ties and stuff like that. But I've seen, you've seen something like that. Psychos, I've seen girls who just want to have fun and everything in between. Yeah. But, yes, it's a hindrance.
Yeah.
And it's also, it helps you see more things out there, more people and how they are. And you're not, pinpointed just one.
Yep.
There are a lot of great people out there, and everybody's got problems. If you're comfortable with that, knowing that, like, hey, I ain't perfect.
Well, everybody's broken. Everybody's broken. Like, we are, and it's okay to say that because we're all broken. Everybody's broken.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you get here. Like, you get here.
It's a process,
right?
though.
You don't know you're going to get here, and then one day you get here, and you're like,
the process.
Wow, everybody's broken. Like, it's not just me. We're all here together. We're all like the land of a misfit toys, and we're trying to like navigate through this swamp of just people, right? Of just people everywhere. So I don't know. Like, I'm so glad we got to talk about this today, guys, because just it's a real dynamic. And the more I talk to people, and again, I guess maybe it's the age group. The more people that I talk to, the more men that I speak to, they're either out of relationships or they were married, they're no longer married, they have kids, and they're looking for that second chance, or they're looking to meet someone to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to start my next life. Like, this is, I made the mistakes I made in my past. I'm not going to make those mistakes again. But the thing is, I guess my question is, how do you differentiate between those people? Like, because if you look, is everybody looking for a relationship? No. Is everybody looking for, or does it just happen, right? Look, I'm just going out here to get laid, and all of a sudden I meet someone, and like, now
that can happen.
You know what I mean? So it's like you wonder. Again,
I think it brings the pool, the dating issue. That brings the pool closer to you, and it brings you a wider pool of different people. That's all. I mean, and it's quicker access, but it's still people.
So it's not you being creepy in a coffee shop, walking up to somebody going, hey, I think you're really pretty. You want to go on a date with me? Because
you know what? Try that. I've done that, and it worked.
Yeah.
Playful banter. And I've had girls actually come to me and say, ask me, and they're like, you make a joke, offside joke or whatever, what I mean? Or you put yourself in the room with them, and there's something happens, and you say something. Almost like a not to diminish them, but like, take them down a notch, a little playful, and they laugh, and they're like, oh, you asshole. And next thing you know, they're like, they give you that lip sync. Are you married? You know what I mean, or whatnot, because of our age. And I'm like, and next thing you know, and at that point, and you say, is this the point we get? We exchange numbers and shit like that. And they're like, yes, you know what I mean. And you, but that's all developed. You know what I mean? Like you said, you guys, whatever. Like, if you ever got divorced, whatever, and you have to play that game, you gotta develop that. And sometimes there's days I'm just like. Totally out of it. Totally out of it. And I know some. I sometimes I hang out with guys and they're freaking jacked, and I look like the dumpy. You know what I mean? But you still got to be playful and funny, because there's some girl out there. She's like, I got a friend for you. Or she's like, hey, meet my friend that comes around and then the girl's like, I'm so into talking to you. Yeah, I've dated girls, and girls says, you're not the type of guy you should date. Yeah. She goes, she's a fitness girl. And she goes, but you're a whole hell of a lot more fun.
And there's times where your friend will call you and be like, hey, I'm out. I got some girls. Come meet with me, right? You want to take advantage of those opportunities, don't you? Like, you want to take advantage of those chances, like when you can, because like you said, I got a friend for you. You know what I mean? So automatically, like, your buddy or your girlfriend is kind of looking out for you, going, hey, I know somebody, and I think you guys are compatible, and you could, like, you should always take. Remember, Joe. Should always take those advantages. Always take them. Never say no. Never say no. Real quick, we're running out of time here. I want to circle back with Joe real quick, because there was something I wanted to ask you about. But before we do that, please, if you haven't done so already, thebobbycudoshow.com, thebobbycudoshow@gmail.com if you want to just reach out, and of course the Patreon. If you want to support the show and you enjoy what we're doing here and the conversations that we're having, then the only way to support the show is by doing the Patreon. That's really what helps, kind of pay for some of this. I'm
surprised
technology.
We haven't had any like bad comments, like screw this guy.
I think we're good. I think we're good. No, we haven't said anything. It's truth. It's fact, and I appreciate your experience.
One thing I would say, if anybody listens, I mean, like, don't go out looking for a relationship in a way. You got to look for you to be comfortable with you, and then the relationships come. All those girls, because they see things better than you do. You know, what I mean? They have that instinct to look for danger, look for something. So they know you better than you in a way, and how you act. So you got to be comfortable with yourself and have fun. Be fun with it, and then everything else should fall into play. Don't go look and say, "Oh, this girl's pretty. I need to lock her down." You're gonna blow it. I want to be the best I can.
Yeah.
If she's good enough for me, you got to be confident in yourself.
Yeah,
you got to be you. And confident in yourself.
I guess circling back to you, Joe,
Yes.
and that is be you, because it's almost impossible to not be you.
Right.
You
but
could
be a better you.
Yeah,
always be
oh,
better
of course,
you.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
Know your faults and get better
dude.
at it. You got to
Right,
excel to get that.
You got to
hot
accept.
girl.
You got to accept yourself.
Yep.
Who
And then
you
and
are.
if you don't like something, work on it.
Today is day 20 for me of 75 Hard. Milestone day 20. I've been doing some amazing reading, and both physically and mentally, I have never been more clear-minded, and I've never felt better, like physically better. Like I get up in the morning, I put my feet on the ground, like I'm making my bed as soon as I get up in the morning. Like all of these things that are happening, I'm not even conscious about it. You know what I mean? Like it just happens. I get up in the morning, I do my 45-minute workout. I'm drinking my gallon of water every day. I haven't touched alcohol.
Going to the bathroom.
Dude, a lot of bathroom. I have not drank any alcohol in 20 days. And I hate to say this because nobody wants to hear it. I have never felt better in my life. Like I really have not felt better in my life. I get up, I'm not clouded. I'm not, and the thing is, I'm not
Nice to purge
you guys
booze,
know me.
man.
I'm not a big drinker. Dude, I'm not a big drinker.
I'm a drinker,
I'm
bro.
not. Like if I'm
Nice
hanging
to
out
purge
with you
the booze
guys,
some days.
I'll have
I've
some
done that
drinks. But
plenty
normally,
times.
dude, I'm not a big drinker. But
No, I'm
even
not at
though
home.
that little that I was drinking was fogging me, like I felt fogged.
Oh, well.
And now, bro, like
That's even your eating habits.
that
That'll
too.
make you change too.
Yeah, that too. I'm eating healthier. Like I'm
Your
doing
body will
more
feel a lot
conscious thoughts.
better. Yeah.
When I have a buddy the same thing, and he was doing that. He says he quit drinking too, and he actually came back for after a while, and he said the same things about. He goes, you get better thoughts, you make better decisions.
Yes.
You get clear head. He says I've been making better decisions on what I eat, everything all around.
So if anybody's interested, 75 Hard, hashtag 75 Hard. Go check it out. This is, I just picked up the book, Andy Frisella, and this is just, I can't wait to read this one. I'm reading another book now that I've been sharing with everybody on Facebook, if they've been on Facebook. And that really just mentally realizing all of the things that I've been doing wrong. Like I'm a people pleaser. I always sacrifice myself for other people. Like all those things that I've been doing for so long, you don't realize it until you read it. Because I read that, I'm reading the book and I'm looking at it and going like, did somebody write this? This is make for me. Like this is Bobby Kudo. This is everything in here is me. I find that every page I turn, I can relate with everything that they're saying. And it's almost as if, when they say this, usually when you have like narcissistic parents, they don't even realize they're doing it to you. But you become almost needy. Like you almost become, you want that constant. Like
that's something else. Going back to that issue with the woman. Yeah.
Like you need that gratification. That the only way that I know that I'm doing good is if I'm helping you. Like that's, and so, and not being able to say no to you. So every time I say yes, I'm sacrificing myself and my time to please you. And not to say that we don't help each other, but ultimately you have to say to yourself, well, I have to do me first, and then I can extend my help to others. But when you give so much of yourself for so long, Joe, it's like your wife said, you're miserable all the time. Like, why are you always sad? Well, because you know why? I'm working all day long. The phone doesn't stop ringing. I'm running around all over the place. I got, however many people, you got your job.
My life is not me.
My life is not me. My life is not me. Women don't see that. Women don't see that
Some
part
do.
of it.
His wife did.
Well, Joe's did. But I'm saying in most cases, the work life is separate. Like you don't,
Right.
I'm away for you for 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is, but you don't know what I'm going through. Right. You don't know that every customer's house I'm going to and knocking on the door, they're an asshole. And
they don't think that. And I've had that conversation. They don't think that way. They think, oh, are you thinking about me? Because she's got none. No, you're busy on a purpose. Right. Some strong women want that. Say, no, he's on his purpose. He's making shit.
But again,
happen.
shame on us.
He's killing
on men
bringing it home to me
for not talking about it.
Right.
Like
sometimes they don't want to hear you bitch about your life all the time.
But it's not about,
a balance in everything.
Yeah, but you hear what I said though?
You try not to bring your work life back home, but you're doing it by not saying anything or doing anything.
You're bringing the baggage.
You're holding it back.
You're bringing the baggage. I'm saying have a conversation.
Right. Yeah.
If you're just and you're not bitching and whining, oh, why me? Well, that's all. Yeah, that's all pity. You're pitying yourself. I'm not saying. I'm saying coming home and being like, hey, listen, like I had a rough day today. Oh, what happened? Well, A, B, C. This is wow. Can I do something for you? And
they love that.
Right?
A lot of women love that. They want that nurturing nature because they make them feel.
But again,
that's one of the things they feel like a good woman.
To the first point of our conversation today, men do not share that information. And that's kind of why I'm bringing this up.
We don't, yeah.
We don't share that because, again, we feel it's weakness. If I tell you that I'm feeling this way and I'm supposed to be your sole provider, I feel weak. I feel like I'm giving you information that I probably shouldn't. I'm making you feel bad about me. I'm making you feel bad about our situation. So I think that's where we kind of fall off the cliff.
Right.
But I think ultimately, I guess the message today is everybody just talk. I mean, really communicate with each other. And
that's the biggest thing in a relationship is communication. If you don't have communication.
And if you feel off, say
something,
right? If you feel off, say something. I mean, really just open up and say something. And whether it be reaching out to a friend, Joe, I know that people reach out to you and they talk to you. Bro, you have some, if anybody doesn't know, go follow Joe on Facebook. I mean, some of the things that you write and some of the things that you share is so inspiring to me, bro. And I read every single thing you post.
I don't go on as often as
it's awesome, bro. And and I know you're writing those things and you're writing that from the heart, and it really, really means a lot to a lot of people.
A lot of them I'll think of. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them I'll take bits and pieces from something I've heard. Put them together and make it a whole,
Gotcha.
Some of them I'll sit there and write. And even like I'll talk to my wife and she'll say something about the day and I'll be like, well, you shouldn't do it you shouldn't think that way. You should think this way. This is this. And she's just looking at me and she goes, oh yeah, Doctor.
Dr. Joe Costa.
No, because my nickname, a lot of people know is Boo. They all call me Boo.
Dr. Boo.
So she's like, okay, Dr. Boo, do this.
I like that.
But it, if you knew me back then and you asked, like, I won't go up to you and be like, hey, you should look at life this way and do this and that. Or, if I know that you're having a marriage or you're having a relationship problem, even like some of my friends, they're having problems with if you're not going to ask, I'm not going to impose myself out there. If you ask me,
I'll help you.
I'll give you an opinion.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you don't want an opinion, you just need somebody to talk to.
Yeah. Yep. I'm there to listen. The vent.
Yeah. I've talked to you.
My point is that people
all
reach
you
out
need is somebody to vent.
And we're talking.
And I'll listen.
Right.
Yeah.
And guys, I never knew this. Like until we started talking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when do you reach out? When it's too late? When you fall off the...
That's usually how it is.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
how it is.
Right.
And don't wait. I guess that's the message today. Don't wait. Like, when you feel it, say it.
But like I
talk about it.
So right now... One of my friends reached out to me and he's going through just out of nowhere. Boom. She's like, I don't want nothing to do with you anymore. And this person has been having for years and years, they've been going
back and forth.
Yeah.
So there's a pattern there.
Right. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, listen, this is your way out. I'm like, you're too good of a guy. You've bent over backwards for this woman so many times. Like, I know, I know, you know what I'm saying? I know the situation that's going there.
Know when to say when.
Like, usually I'll sit there and be like, oh, well, why did she do that? Or why you feel that way?
Yeah.
Try to get both pieces so that way I can give you some kind of advice. But I already know that relationship for so many years because I've been friends with this person I've seen it go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And this person still wants to be with her. He still wants to work things out. And I told him, I said, listen, 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
17 years you've been going on and on and on. I said, cut your ties.
Yeah.
I said, you got to work on you.
That's when that
you need.
You
I
have
said,
to
you're
be
too
the
good of a
man.
guy.
When your woman walks around you, you're still going forward. That's the woman who wants to be on the side of you.
Right.
When you give up everything for her,
that's what I told him. That's what I told him. I said, there's a woman out there for you that'll appreciate you and the stuff that you do.
Yeah.
That's the type of girl you want.
When you give yourself
for her,
it's
gonna suck right
now.
Yeah.
But you're gonna suck. You'll learn.
17 years. That's a long time.
That's how you
become. You
become.
don't just go ahead and go whatever. I don't. It's not like going out with Tinder dates and stuff
I'm
like
not
that.
going with Tinder.
I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you have short-term relationships with people.
I sat there and I'm like, listen, and I had a heart with him. I'm like, you are too good of a guy.
Yep.
Seriously, like, not just because you're my friend, and I'm just saying this because. Believe me, if you were a jerk to her, I would tell you. I'd be like, listen, well, that's the product of what you're getting, right?
What age group are we talking? You don't have to give me specific ages. What age group are we talking? Are we
our age?
Our age.
Okay.
So I know we are completely out of time, like we are. But I got to say this because it's important. How about the physical? The physical. When I say this,
physical attraction?
No. When they get physical.
When men and women go through changes in their life, when they reach this age, men go through
fall out of love.
Men have midlife crises.
That's what.
And women have other things.
Yeah. Right.
So, like, I think nobody's talking about that either.
No,
and that's huge. Because that's psychological. When you're talking hormones, in testosterone and estrogen,
it changes the person. It's not the person that you fell in love with.
There you go. It changes you.
It's not the same person. And sometimes
to the men and the women,
we need to learn that. I think. I mean, because this is we live longer than we did back in the day, and that's going to change. We have more options. We got to learn. Say we're no longer together anymore. I love her and everything she's done, but if it's not going to work out, we need to. That's going to be a dynamic we're not going to see in another century.
Well, that's why I asked him because I was like, well, how old is she? And she's actually younger than us.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, that's
how much younger? How much younger than him?
Well, we can't get. We're trying not to get.
No, not specific, but
I don't want to let
decade
anybody out.
more or.
One's in the 30s, the other one's in the 40s.
That in itself can make a big difference, and we can go on. We won't have enough time for that, but that in itself makes a big difference on both sides.
Yeah, because if you get to 10 years, you might be going through that change before she does. So she could support you through your change, and then you get older and get past yours. Now you're helping her through hers. So yes, Gary, I can completely and utterly say that. So you're the same age, you're going through that same stuff together. And I think it really comes down to communicating. I think that's the key. I think if you communicate and
because you can't help you can't help her. She can't help you because she's going through her shit.
Yes,
you're going through your shit.
Yes,
and sometimes it's a woman's nature, and I don't want to get bombarded. And I can talk to you through the day, through the night. Yeah, but then sometimes it's a woman's nature just to be like that. She gets the nice strong guy, older. She loves that, and as she builds up her, then she goes and then she's gonna dump you because you're not as vibrant as she. You know what? It's man, woman on this planet. It's been like that since the dawn of time.
Yep.
We're not going to figure out here, but it's good that we talk about it to get better because this challenge has been like this for thousands of years.
Yep.
And we still are at the point where we're at now.
It's funny.
So it's not going to change better. We just got to learn to be better within ourselves and how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But if you ask, like even at work, like I know some of the guys, they're probably just joking around, but
sometimes they let you out.
I'll walk into the office and they'll be like, "Hey Joe, hit me with a quote of the day."
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know if they're just.
You think some guys are reaching out to you because
I don't know if they're just being jerks.
They got problems.
They're just being whatever.
No,
but
sometimes guys
whatever.
like that.
I don't care. I'll hit them with a quote. There you go.
Yeah. Take that.
Yeah.
Guys,
you know what I'm saying?
This is good stuff, man. Could we do this again? Like we can do another part. Like we can do another half of this.
There's
if you want.
69 of this, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I have questions. Joe, I wanted to come back to you, and there's things I want to ask, and I don't think we have enough time, and we're already an hour into the show, and I don't want to go too far.
So you guys get people to come back.
Yeah.
So we could record the whole thing and then do a part 2.
No, we could. We should do that.
It's up to you.
We'll do that.
You're the captain of the ship.
All right. Well, like I said,
you could cut this.
Yeah, I could cut this.
I do it all the time.
I could.
The people on the live show gets to see the behind the scenes.
Well, I got places to be. I love being here, but I got places to be. So that's pretty much it.
You go be that place.
So I think, this is amazing information, guys. Like, honestly, not for any other reason other than the fact that I think it's so relevant in the space that we live in today.
There's going to be torches and pitchforks in front of my house.
No, dude. Gary, you were on target today, brother. Everything you said was.
I got the hose outside.
If anybody was offended by what you said today,
then they need to grow up.
They need to grow up, one, and two, they need to talk to somebody.
Listen some more.
Because they're absolutely, yeah.
I'll hit you with one right now for you.
All right,
because you said how you're always.
Go ahead, Joe.
You're always giving your needs to everybody else.
Yep.
All right, so this is one I got. Some people aren't loyal to you. They are loyal to your need of you. Once their need changes, so does their loyalty.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
That one.
That's a great
and you know
place
what?
to shut it.
That's the way to go out right there. That's the way to go, Joe. Appreciate it. If you guys haven't done so already, please go over, follow Joe on Facebook. Gary's kind of like hiatus, bro. You're all set with social media. Yeah, I find you everywhere. But I mean, is there anything you want to talk about White Kit Realtors real quick? Just
I mean, we got some real estate is in a tough market right now. I mean, everything's been going slightly the way, but he's reaching out for any questions or any problems. Gary Cabral, Cabby 2711.
Whoa.
White Kit Realtors.
Yeah, he's way
that
too fast.
down, man. Come on.
How do if I want to communicate with you?
Twist over here?
How do I call you? What's the number? What's the number I want to call you at?
508-415-4177. Please leave a message.
All right.
I get so many calls. I won't answer right away.
Email?
CABG2711 at yahoo.com. White Kit Realties. Please don't do the junk mail.
Gary, you're the man. You know what? I've inquired in a couple of things with Gary, and I will tell you that the information.
I also have another venture coming up probably in a year or so. But until I get the professional license, I can't do anything.
So you're going to do the mail gigolo thing. You decided to do that.
You're going to be a broker, huh?
You're going to be mail
broker?
No,
not a real estate broker. It's a different environment. But maybe in the
Gary's very good in the financial realm, in the financial markets. So.
Getting into the marijuana business.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, you know what? There's money in there too.
I don't know. I know people that are in the business, and they say that there's no money in it.
No, the government had it rented out. Yep. I had a cousin who did this in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
This is years down the road, and he told me, they have it figured out with it. Just enough to cut yourself money. You're never going to get rich.
That's everything. That's capital gains, bro. It's the same.
It's the government. It's the government trying to hold you back on that thing.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to come in today. And I mean, Gary, last minute, Joe. I mean, you agreed to this, and I'm so grateful that we can have this time and we can talk about these things. And I love the dynamics. Again, we talked about the Disgruntled American podcast and having Steve here, and Steve is another dynamic. Gary, you are just a different dynamic, and it's fantastic. And
Everyone likes it.
although in this case you may be the villain, me personally, I look at you as
I like the bad guy.
dude. This is important information for men. I think men really need to realize, and for women too. I mean, this is really.
Yeah, you know what? We can go on this, and women need to learn some of their shit too.
Yeah, absolutely. This is great insight. Absolutely, because it's a two-way street. It has to work. It has to work in both directions.
Making me some nice stories.
Yeah.
That right now. It's no lovey-dovey thing, but it'll help people.
So we just need to come back in here and do this again. We agree? Agree?
We might be doing a service to people.
I think so. So guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Audience, please, if you don't mind, go over thebobbycudoshow.com. You want to send me an email message. If you have any questions or comments about today's show, hit me up at thebobbycudoshow@gmail.com. And of course, you can always call the show, leave a message, 508-475-9499. And I'm always so grateful for you being here, and I really appreciate it. And don't forget the Patreon. Joe, you said it. What was it, like 2 cents a day or something like that? What was it? What did we figure it out?
I think it was like 6 cents.
6 cents a day, right? 6 cents a day to support the Bobby Kudo Show. There's great entertainment. There's great information. This doesn't just happen. There's a lot of process that takes place behind this. So I just want to thank you all for your time today. Really appreciate it. Episode 68 coming to a close. Have a great day. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Joe. And always remember, everybody, that all roads lead here.